Is this it? This is it. All right. Necromancer Gravelord Boneyard. Increase the damage of this ability and its morphs approximately 10% per tick, since they tick 10 times instead of 11 after the change. Boneyard is doing 10% more damage now. Cool. Okay. Oh, well, let's start with interesting stuff. Class changes. How about that? Dragonknight, Ardent Flame. Oh, they said Dragonites were gonna get some love. Combustion. Increase the resources granted from this passive to 501,000 stamina, up from 250. Wow, they doubled it. They doubled the resource gained from this passive. Added a cooldown of 500 milliseconds to each effect, which are separately tracked from one another to make up for the above increase and the massive buff the charge rate is getting. Wow. Okay, in front of this ability and the cauterized morph now grant both major prophecy and savagery rather than only prophecy. Oh, nice. Okay. Dude, that's great for the DK, my stam DK build. Flames of Oblivion morph. This morph now launches 3 fireballs, up from 2 since it lost part of its unique morph function. Ah, damage increase. Lava Whip. This ability and its morph now scales off your highest offensive stats rather than exclusively Magicka based stats. There you go. Stam just got whip. Okay. Stam just got whip. You can use whip on your stam DK. There it is, man. Flame Lash morph. Fix an issue where this morph did not apply off balance to targets who are immobilized, but not already off balance. The override ability Power Lash now heals immediately rather than over 2 seconds, but its total healing per cast has been reduced approximately 43%. However, Power Lash no longer has a 3-second cooldown. Ballerinas are back. Hey. Interesting. So Stam's gonna be whipping. There you go, Stam boys. Stam DKs can whip again. And the Molten Whip is interesting. It's gonna heal you. Interesting. Okay, World in Ruin. Wait. Developer comment. Show World in Ruin. This passive now increasing your damage done with flame and poison attacks by 2 and 5%, rather than increasing your damage done with area of effect flame attacks by 3 and 6, and reducing the cost of your poison abilities by 12 and 15. So they lost cost reduction, but they gained generic flame and poison damage increase. 2% flame, 5% poison. And it's not specific to AoE anymore. Interesting. What developer comment? The one I just read? Right here? This passive has been holding back the class in terms of PvE damage output for quite some time, pigeonholing the class into unsynergetic and often redundant combinations, while sustained portion of the effect for stamina-based Dragonites had some cool niche gameplay. We feel it missed a mark as a general passive for the class. Hey, crit damage cap is 125%. That is low. That is low. Interesting. That's lower than I thought. That's lower than I thought they were gonna go. Interesting. Dude, that is going to effectively change the way we build our characters, which is what they want. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. That'll do it. And remember, this is before anyone has a small baby or a big baby, or before you riot and pitchfork. Remember, this is week 1 of PTS. We have 5 weeks after this where they could change every single one of these numbers, right? And if the people, right, if the skinny cheeks of the world and all these parsers and everybody goes out there and they try testing all this stuff, and they discovered that literally they broke the game, like ZOS will adjust it accordingly, right? It's going to take some time for everyone to test these things out. This is a good starting point. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Rip to your Khajiit that you used the class change token for. They gotcha. Yeah. That's why I hate when they make race change balancing changes without giving tokens. I think that's cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, Earthen Heart, Ash Cloud. This ability and its morphs now cost 378 magic every second while active, rather than having a massive upfront cost of 5,670, keeping their costs per second relatively the same while removing the penalty of having to recast the ability, aside from losing a global cooldown. This ability and its morph now costs 378 magic every second, rather than having a massive upfront cost. Interesting. Okay, this ability now takes 15 times over their duration, down from 16, while their total damage or healing per cast remains relatively the same. These abilities now last 15 seconds, up from 12. Nice. These abilities now rank up 1.1% healing or damage done per rank, rather than 1 second. Oh, that's cool. Eruption, the morph's initial hit damage now has 10-second cooldown to prevent it from turning into an incredibly low-costing AoE spammable. Makes sense. Okay. 10-second cooldown. Battle Roar. This passive now restores 25-50 health magic and 70 per consumed, rather than 23 and 46. So a slight buff to the ult regen when you use your ult. Hey. Man, this is interesting. Okay, Necromancer, Grave Lord, Boneyard, 10% increased damage. 10% more damage on one of my AoE dots. I'm happy about it. I love that skill. Okay. Nightblade, Assassination, Grim Focus. This ability and its morph now grant 1% damage done per stack, rather than 2% critical damage and healing per stack. 1% damage. So they're helping Nightblades out here because of the really low crit damage cap. They've removed the crit damage bonus, and instead they gave a flat 1% increase. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, for Nightblades, I mean, this is really good. They're addressing one of the biggest concerns I think Nightblades were having. What am I going to do? I have so much crit damage. Here you go. Flat damage increase. Nice. This change was done to help ensure the class keeps up in damage after the introduction of the crit potency cap. Yep. Shadow, Path of Darkness, Twisting Path Morph. This ability's damage now scales dynamically with the highest of your offensive stats. Boom. Blurring the line between mag and stam even more. I was already using Twisting Path on my Stamblade. The Stamblade got a nice buff from this, right? Because it was scaling off the wrong stat. But now Stamblade's even in a better spot than they used to be, because they can use Twisting Path to better effect than they would. Like, Stam is so hard up for AoE dots that we were literally using mag dots, despite their awful scaling. Now, hey, this helps. This helps. That's cool. Sorcerer, Storm Calling, Lightning Splash. Fix an issue where the base ability was ending too soon and missed an extra tick of the damage. There you go. Sorks getting a little more damage from their AoE dot. I don't see a lot of Sorks use this ability. I hope I see it more now. You know, more class identity. There's a new Wretched title coming. Wait, there is? In ESO, there's a Wretched oh, no way. Templar. Adric Spear. It's trash setup only? Yeah. Do you use it on every trash bowl, Shark? Templar, Adric Spear, Spear Shards. Fixed an issue where this ability and its morphs were ending slightly too soon, causing them to miss an extra tick of damage. This ability and its morphs were ending slightly too soon. Oh, okay. A lot of things were missing 1 tick of damage, which is fairly significant. Dawn's Wrath, Backlash. This ability and its morphs visual effects are now visible to the caster and enemies rather than anyone. Visual clutter being reduced. That's good. We need lots of that. Restoring Light. Cleansing Ritual. Increase the scaling coefficients on this ability and its morphs by approximately 17% since they tick 6 times instead of 7. And they'd never addressed it. Okay, so they buffed it a little bit. Warden, Green Balance. Emerald Moss. Fix an issue where the morphs of the healing seeds were not properly contributing to the passive. Cool. Vampire, Mistform. This ability's... oh, shit. This ability... and morphs damage reduction now only works against player attacks rather than any attack to prevent it from being invalidating many threats in PvE encounters. This ability has been growing in popularity as a one-size-fits-all problem solver for many challenges in PvE areas that attempt to push the player to adjust their strategies, leading to many situations that trivialize difficulty or enforce the idea that players must be a vampire to do content. Mistform is meant to be used as a disengagement tool, and the current iteration is currently enabling it to be used as a stand your ground ability in PvE. Moving forward, we are restricting the damage reduction to PvP to help stave off damage as you retreat, while removing it as an defensive tool in PvE. I'm curious. I almost want to just control F to the trial and see what they changed, if anything there. Pain's Fitness, Pain's Refuge. This star now reduces your damage taken by 2% for every negative effect on you rather than 1%. Cap remains at 20%. This change was done to reduce the power of this node in encounters against single targets. It is meant to shine in outnumbered situations. Okay, Shield Master. Fix an issue where this node does not apply to Sun Shield and its morphs, or Crystallized Shield and its morphs. Warfare, Cutting Defense. The damage from this node can now proc weapon enchantments or poisons in efforts to help make it more enticing for tanks who want to trigger these effects more reliably without dropping their block. Interesting. Okay. Fix an issue with the damage from this proc, had a higher chance to proc status effects. Okay. General fixed issues. Hold on. Let's go now back up to the top. We've seen all the major class changes. What is happening here? All right. New zone, the Deadlands. Deadlands is a new zone being added to the game. Crafted sets that they're adding. Okay, Wretched Vitality. Wretched Vitality. Are you surprised though? About what? Wait, so is boss A hard mode undoable now? Nice. Did I get pulled into the boss fight? Hey guys, good work. Keep it up. Sounds good to me. Okay, magic recovery, stamina recovery, weapon damage and spell damage. Mag and stamina recovery, weapon and spell damage. While in combat, applying a major buff or debuff target grants you 260 mag and stamina every 15 seconds. While in combat, minor buffs grant you 130 mag and stamina recovery. Just raw sustain. This is just a massive sustain set. Is this a tank set? Maybe a tank set or what? I can only see tanks needing this much sustain for doing that. It doesn't say that it's heavy or light or medium though, does it? Like you getting hard characters? Yeah, as always. Yeah, it's crafted. It's crafted. Yeah. So this could be a better starter set for tanks. Crunchy. So tanks could use this set. You could have a crafted set for tanks. Hey, you're a new tank, put this one on. It's gonna be great for your sustain. Yeah. Okay, Deadlands Demolisher. Stamina, weapon and spell damage, max stamina. Your bash attacks deal 935 damage. When you bash, you also deal physical damage in a cone in front of you, interrupting any enemy's hit. This effect can occur once every 2 seconds and counts as a bash. Wow, interesting. What class would you recommend for a solid solo build? And resources and sustain. I'm wanting a stamina DPS. I love solo stam crow. Solo stammed in. Solo stam DK. So powerful. I would do stam DK right now. I mean, stam DK looking good this patch. Especially for solo. They were already so strong solo. They're even better now. Iron Flask. Max health, max health. Wait, are these all heavy sets? No, just crafted. I wish they said what weight they were. Max health, armor. These seem like heavy. Are these all heavy? Overlay, Eye of the Grass, light. Crafted anyway, dude. Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. That's why. That's what I'm missing. Yeah. Okay. Overlay, Eye of the Light. Okay, here, light, medium, heavy. Max mag, weapon and spell damage, critical chance. When you deal damage, generate 7 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. Max mag, weapon and spell damage, crit chance. Generate 7 ultimate. So an ult regen set. Interesting. 7 ult every 5 seconds. So a little over 1 ult per second. That's a lot of ult regen, actually. Hey, Spooky Bassa. Thanks for the prime, man. Thank you. Medium adds crit chance, weapon and spell damage, crit chance. Okay, that's all solid so far. Dealing critical damage with a direct damage ability grants you a damage shield that absorbs 8,000 damage for 6 seconds. Wow, this is like having Brawler without using Brawler. This can happen once every 6 seconds. So once every 6 seconds, you get an 8k shield. But you're missing a 5-piece damage bonus, so this will never be used in endgame content. The first 3 stats are pretty cool. The 5th one is fun. But, you know. Yeah. Let's see. We'll do like this. Heavy adds max health, stamina recovery, armor. When you deal direct damage, you apply 1 of 5 random major debuffs to enemies within 8 meters of you for 18 seconds. This effect can occur every 8 seconds and only if an enemy is in range. Eligible debuffs may be major breach, major cowardice, major defile, major maim, major vulnerability. Wow, that's interesting. They're doing a lot of these. I'm seeing these sets where like you just don't know what you're gonna get. It's a little bit of a gamble. Like the set could do wonderful things for you. It could be awful for you, depending on the RNG while wearing it. Interesting. And you can have 3 at a time. You can get 3 of these at once. When you deal damage, you apply 1 of 5. 8 seconds for 18 seconds. New collectibles and outfit styles. Okay, some new cosmetics. New achievements. The Wretched title. There you go, Mina. Hero of Fargrave. Hakrovar, Catalyst, Rivener, Champion of the Deadlands, Ardent Hope, and Wretched. The Wretched. Mina, here you go, man. Mina the Wretched. Are you still going to change your name, Mina, or are you going to become this? Ancient Daedric motif chapters. House Hexos motif chapters and associated item. New furnishings. Okay, base game update. The armory system. Introducing the armory system, a new system that helps relieve friction between switching or experimenting with your character builds. Awesome. Armory is free to all players to get started. Go there, go to the crown store, grab the station. The armory assistant Galstrog is also available, but for purchase. Note that you cannot save or load out builds without interacting with the station or talking to the assistant. Curated item set drops. Okay. Most bosses in the game, along with reward chests from arenas and incursions, will now preferentially drop items that you don't have yet, right? Items that are not in your collection, they're going to be dropping those. If they can drop an item you don't have, they'll give it to you. Once you have every item, they'll just drop a random one again. Yeah. Set items looted from treasure chests containers. You know, you guys are doing good work. You guys are doing good work. All right. This is gonna be the hardest style page I ever had to earn. Set items looted from treasure chests containers. Boss monsters. So basically, treasure chests don't count, right? It's got to be a boss you kill. It's got to be a boss you kill. New mythic items. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Mark Ring of Majesty. Gain 100 weapon and spell damage and 1,100 armor for each 3-beast bonus set active on the wearer. So they're trying to encourage the use of those 3-piece sets that nobody uses. Interesting. 100 weapon and spell damage and armor. What an interesting combination. So maybe for PvP, I could see people using this in PvP. Yeah. They're not touching Hrothgar. And now we can crit. Are they? This set's effects count for any 3 or 5-piece set in which you're wearing a minimum. Wait, can I res yet? Okay, I need to get up. Let me go get my loot real quick. You'd get at most 3 stacks of that though. Yeah, it seems like that. What do you mean I don't get loot? I was very much a part of this victory. Okay. Belharza's band increase the damage of your light attacks by 1,185. That's like a Maelstrom staff. When you deal damage with consecutive melee light attacks, gain a stack of Belharza's Templar for 10 seconds, up to 5 stacks max. When you perform a fully charged heavy attack, consume Belharza's Templar or Temper and deal physical damage per stack to enemies in a line after a 1-second delay, stunning them for 3 seconds. If 5 stacks are consumed, this effect can occur once every 4 seconds and scales off the higher of the weapon and spell damage. Hold on. I feel like, you know, where is it? Where is it? So we'll just put this on. Okay. All right. There's a lot to digest there, right? There's a lot to digest. Buff bar build incoming. You finally have you will finally have VMA Inferno. Yeah, same here, man. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. There's so much going on here. Once every 4 seconds. So it's encouraging heavy attack. It's going to do damage in a line, but how much damage in a line? I don't know. Werewolf item? Do you think that's what it's for? Like a heavy attack werewolf build? Spalder of Ruin. Activating crouch toggles on and off a 12-meter aura of pride. Up to 6 allies in the aura gain 260 weapon and spell damage. Reduce your weapon and spell damage by 130 for every group member benefiting from your aura of pride. So what? You get it? You engage in combat. You engage in combat and they're like crouch, and everybody gets weapon and spell damage, and you're just crouching. Only activating crouch toggles aura of ride on or off. Exiting crouch will not toggle this set on or off. Oh, okay. There's clarification. So you crouch, boom, it's activated. You don't have to stay crouching. You can actually play crouch to turn it off. Interesting. Yeah, and then you put this on a support, maybe a tank. I mean, because healers need spell damage for healing, right? No, it's not even a buff bot. It's a buff ornament. I mean, it's got to be a tank thing. Yeah. New tank, new off-tank piece. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, map updates. In update 32, the active dark anchors will now show. Boom, that's awesome. Sky shards will now appear on your map. There you go, console lights. That's gonna be awesome for you. Sky shards will now appear on the map in the compass when you get near them. Perfect. New homes. We got 2 new homes. Cool. Yeah. Combat music options. We're now gonna be able to choose. We have options for combat music in ESO. This will hopefully increase the variety of music you experience. You know? Are you guys at the boss? Is he gonna pull me in? The new rotation will involve crouching. It sounds like it. We're right before the last boss. Oh, okay. All right, cool. New PvP emote. The siege master. Wait, the siege stomper emote. Oh yeah, this looks really funny. The siege stomper emote. You summon a miniature siege ballista or something, and it's a catapult, I think, and then you fire it. It's adorable. Nvidia. Okay, so they got DLSS, DLAA, right? So basically better performance for you, better looking game, more efficiently rendered. Event testing, Undaunted Celebration. Okay, so they're gonna start testing the Undaunted event, one of my favorite events of the entire year. run dungeons, and make intense amounts of money. If you're a new player and you want easy money, I made 20 million gold 2 months ago because I sold 2 style pages from this event, right? From that event, I probably made close to 30 million from one event. Okay, 30 million gold. I cannot behoove you enough to participate in this event if you are a new player or a veteran player that just doesn't want to be poor. It is the easiest way to make gold in the game outside of the anniversary event. All right. In fact, I made more probably from this than the anniversary. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But that's going to be like around November, probably November, December. For this PTS cycle, we're offering 2 templates for you to utilize. 3600 template with all the new sets items placed directly in your inventory. Do you like these going into your inventory instead of being in bags? Yes. Oh, that's great. That would be fantastic. Just anything to mitigate testing these new things for you would be awesome. Yes. Fix an issue which would cause the template characters to be placed into it. They're like, oh, do you look at this question right here? I say this with love. Do you like this to be less of a pain in the ass? Like literally that's what they ask. It's like, of course, this is amazing. Thank you. Under encrusted item set drops, which one? General, bosses in False Martyr's Folly are not currently dropping any loot. The antiquity. You guys are doing good. I mean, I'm ahead of you guys. Honestly, you guys are slow as hell. Like, imagine not being up here with the boss already. You guys are ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what just happened? Why did Twitch Safety Center just open up and replace my chat? Okay, that's not what I was looking for. And never mind that. Okay, Rockgrove Trial. Oh, the Rockgrove Trial. Okay, remove the animations for players' hit reactions from several damage over time effects throughout the trial. Death Touch now deals less damage per tick. Good. Yeah, they had to do something if they're gonna nerf Misform. I mean, they really did. Especially if they were also taking a nerf to our damage. Decrease the negative effects on healing and shielding from Death Touch. Gravethorn now deals less damage. Wraths now appear less frequently. Wraiths do. Your channel will no longer be interrupted after activating a sigil if another player activates a sigil while blocking. That's good. They fixed that. Tanks will be happy. Although it doesn't matter because they're not misforming anymore. Move the butterfly next to the Blackwood Crossroads Ray Shrine, much to Mary's delight as you rip its wings off. Thank you. Yeah. Furnishings. A new furnishing plan for an unadored Leywin Castle can now be found in Leywin reward coffers. Dead Lucky is dead. I'm fine. I'm fine. Dude, this is... Okay, so... This is cool. I'm really curious to see how this is all going to feel without Misform. This did 2 things. 1, Vampire is dead again. Kind of. I'm going to be sad to see it go. I'm not going to be Vampire. RIP. It was fun for a patch, though. It was fun. Quest. Things lost, things found. Reward potions for this quest will now scale probably every level. Or maybe I'll start toggling. Maybe I'll start toggling Goevs. Things lost, things found. Reward potions for this quest will now scale probably with your level. Interesting. Oh, man. That was probably the hardest trial of my life, guys. Y'all are welcome for the carry. Yeah. Toggle is really the only choice. What do you mean you don't have a crate for me? I hate this game. Okay. Asylum Sanctorum Trial. St. Olms. Gus of Steam will now have a visual combat queue in the area. St. Olms will no longer continue to cast oppressive bolts and defile blasts. Should be reduced to 0 health. Okay. Lost in the Gloam. Fix an issue where you could speak with a Duke of Crows prematurely during the quest, causing animation weirdness. Dungeon. Scale Caller Peak Matriarch Aldous, Glacial Geyser will no longer have a chance to activate after defeating. Hey, so you can't die after you beat the boss anymore. Cool. That's nice. As soon as I saw this boss, I was like, oh, they fixed it so you can't cheese her anymore. Right. I call it strategery, but you know, they called it cheese, whatever. A childhood in flames. The warehouse with the companion will no longer cause a second Dragonknight to stick around following you forever. Okay. Oh, wait, that sounds fun, though. Kyne's Aegis Trial, Yondir the Butcher. Yondir will now always cast totems regardless of range. Yondir will no longer slide across the ground when casting Butcher's Blade while moving. Increase the range of Butcher's Blade and Quick Strike. Achievements, Giant Cheese Connoisseur. Weapon swapping no longer removes effects that increase the scale of your character, such as when you eat mammoth cheese. Yeah. Antiquities updated. Okay. Increase the drop rate of the Order Etched Gallery Rail Antiquity Lead. What about the Griffin Feather? The most important antiquity in the game. General. Accessor now only spawns outside of fighters guilds in Solitude, so you don't see him and his evil twin from future past Tamriel at the same time within 20 meters of each other. Fighters Mages Guild recruits. Okay. Dungeons, Bloodroot Forge, Shocks, Lava Ball ability no longer leaves a consumable corpse. Interesting. Okay. General, fix issues with Imperial City. Okay, fix issues. General, Thieves Rejoice, a save box on a desk can now be looted without being seen if you're careful. Hey, that's nice. You may now use the cards to the reach if you've completed the quest, Heart of Evil. My love betrayed. Okay. General, fix an issue where Steam traps in Vardenfell's Enchulentink would not trigger sound effects of your character getting harmed. Halls of Fabrication Trial added the joining encounter in progress functionality to all the bosses in this trial. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. They added it, so now you get pulled into the boss fights there. Would love to see them do that for other trials. It's cool that they've started doing that. Loot for the world boss Mez and Cosner that comes from the chest appearing upon completion. Achievements, rename the Morrowind's Cash Shard Hunter achievement to Vardenfell's Cash Shard Hunter for consistency with other similar achievements. Good. That was breaking my immersion. Black Rose Prison. Hackwing's Rake ability now displays its combat queue during the cast rather than after a short delay. Interesting. Added treasure chests to public dungeons in Rakunalift and Old Orsinium. More treasure chests. Heavy Stags and Rothgar will no longer have a chance to drop prismatic runestones. Interesting. Potent Poison, fix an issue where bestowers for this quest were not interactable. Dungeons, Lair of Marsalok, Celine can no longer be targeted by pets. Oh, thank you, Lord. I mean, well, it was when I was at a stage where that hard mode was pretty challenging. It was so annoying. My Necro Archer would attack nothing but Celine the entire time he was alive, which wouldn't be that big a deal, except he would prematurely free her at very awful moments. Yeah. Okay, Marsalok purged. While purged, Marsalok's unrelenting force ability will no longer knock players who are affected by damage shield and have the necessary amount of stamina to block the ability. Oh, okay. Orvers and Skeletal Bears no longer leave a consumable corpse. What are they doing with all my consumable corpses? What are you guys doing with that? What's that about? Ruins Mazaton, Tree Minder, Nakesh. Lashing Vines will now always play their attack animations. Fix numerous regular monsters. Okay. Dungeons, Red Petal Bastion. Updated the description of the Terror Billy achievement to more accurately reflect the criteria of completing it. The Sugar Rush and Buck Wild effects will now correctly be removed. Okay. The Plunge ability will no longer knock players back. Dread Cellar Magma Incarnate added more appropriate icons to several abilities. Anyone not inside the antecedent catalyst will now be teleported there when Magma Incarnate is defeated. Scoring collectors will now be removed from the fight once the incarnate is defeated. You've been granted a bit more time to escape the lava and poison cloud after resurrecting. Renamed Eternal Flames and Dancing Flames to Firestorm. Firestorm can no longer be blocked, but can be shielded. Moonhunter Keep. Hedgemaze Guardian will now animate correctly after casting Wake the Trees. The Crushing Limbs ability will no longer erroneously play its full animation should it be blocked. Increase the block telegraph effects for Crushing Limbs, and the Hedgemaze Guardian now has less severe animation reactions to being damaged. Okay. Depths of Malatar. Symphony Blades. Symphony Blades will now briefly indicate that it was empowered by Auroran if it crosses Meridia's light. Wait, the Symphony of Blades can be buffed by an Auroran? I've done this dungeon 1,000 times. I didn't know that. Frostfall. Ice Stalker. Ice Stalker is now easier to target and interrupt. It gets buffed if it goes through the wall. Dude, today I learned. So apparently this animation will be helpful. Ice Stalker is now easier to target and interrupt. Ranging. Oh yeah, because when he would land inside of like the other guy, it would be a pain. Raging Winds will no longer leave consumable corpses. Cold Snap Banners can no longer be affected by a player. I wonder if this will stop me from my detonating siphon. All these like these consumable corpses that are not going to be there. If this is going to help reduce how many times detonating siphon spawns in a completely erroneous area. I wonder if that was causing that. Critical damage. Okay, this is a big one. This is juicy. This is the meat to the potatoes here. Critical damage and healing now has a hard cap of 125%. Know that this value can go beyond 125%, but your critical strikes will not deal more than 125% damage or healing in total. Boom. Currently, critical chance continues to remain the best stat in the game by a large margin in PvE due to no effective cap on the bonus and a large array of sourcing of critical damage and healing amplifications. Rather than nerfing the values of these sources across the board and hurting build choices that aren't overperforming, we've decided to add a seething to the effectiveness of critical potency to ensure the stat remains powerful but doesn't continue experiencing power creep as we add more options to build forward in the future, aka major brittle, right? Like major brittle, minor brittle, crit damage bonuses. But this is okay. This should have very low impact on unoptimized builds while also reining in groups who are coordinating many sources of these bonuses and producing extraordinary results of damage or healing. I mean, this game could definitely benefit from closing the gap between the min-maxers and the non-min-maxers. There should be a gap, but it is arguably way too big, so that's good. Made the following adjustments to Bash. The core combat skill now has a cooldown of 333 milliseconds, down from 350 to ensure, okay, reduce the cost to ensure it is 1/3 of a melee spammable. The damage now scales with a mixture of your physical resistances, 1 extra damage. Interesting. Reduce the cooldown phase after activating Bash that prevented you from casting another active ability to 333 milliseconds, down from 700. For smoother gameplay when utilizing. So they reduced the cooldown of Bash. Interesting. And they want it to be The damage from this can now be triggered enchants. Can now trigger enchants. So they want bashing. They want tanks to be able to bash for damage. Players maybe. So no crit chance, but crit damage 125. Yeah. So crit chance, you can do it all you want. Crit damage capped. So what this means is yeah, they didn't specify probably the most important thing, since they didn't specifically separate debuffs. I'm assuming debuffs are included in the cap. I don't know. They didn't specify. That was like the most important thing. Like we needed to know. Does the group adding major force count against your cap? Well, I think it does, because they say groups are combining different buffs and stuff, right? So it must count. So basically we're gonna treat crit damage. EC is dead. It sounds like EC is dead, man. It does, right? It sounds like it is. Crit damage is you're just not gonna stack it anymore, because you'll probably bounce off that cap relatively easily, which counts for buffs, which accounts for debuffs. Yeah, so yeah. Elemental Catalyst, it's a buff bot set. The necros are you know, one necro is always wearing it in any end game trial group. Well, that's interesting. ECA isn't dead because it's crit damage received, but they said right here, no, this value cannot go beyond 125% of your critical strikes. Will not deal more than 125% damage. It sounds like you can't do more than 125%. Like, your damage is capped out at 125% on a crit. And they don't specify crit damage received is separated. And I feel like they would have done that. That's important to know. Yeah. Needs to be tested for sure. Yeah. I wish they would have spelled it out a little better. Fix an issue where the caster of an ability using the new area of effect technology would be dismounted upon entering the area of their ability. Let this be a reminder that technology often affects us in ways we can never expect. Adjust the following abilities to use new area of effect system introduced in update 30. Okay. Abilities and item sets that heal, damage, or restore resources on a set frequency will, while in an area of effect, will no longer display visual effects on each impact for targets in the areas. Below is a list of the affected. So these are going to be going off. They're going to feel much less impactful, is what that sounds like. These will feel much less impactful if you're running around with these on. They'll be doing the same thing, but they'll appear much more cosmetic. Not gonna lie, I don't know the game well enough to make sense of these patch notes. I'm curious what Band of Malakoth will be like, because doesn't it add 25% damage? But stops crits? Yeah. Feel as in they won't visually show anything. Yeah, so it won't feel impactful, right, when it's there, and when it's, because it's just like it'll be like a GIF on top of the screen doing something, but you're not going to see it interacting with the world at all, is what it sounds like, right? These changes were done to help reduce combat clutter while utilizing these effects, as they became impossible to see with numerous active anyway. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm all for any reduction in clutter. Like, the hardest part about boss fight is just seeing the mechanics. Fix an issue where many enchantments, poisons, and items were not properly labeled as procs. Fix an issue where some abilities experienced erratic visual behavior when cast by a female character with the bow equipped. How bizarre. Like, how does that happen, you know? That is so specific. Fix an issue where the abilities that bounce between targets would fail to generate visual effects. When reflected, trying to mount up while teleporting to a way shrine will no longer prevent you from mounting up after teleport finishes. Normal crit damage is just 100%. I think normal crit damage will at 50%. If you don't have any buffs, it was 50%, and you can take that 50% and take it all the way up to 125. Yeah. Okay, we talked about the Dragonknight changes and all the class changes. Basically, Dragonknight's getting some nice sustained buffs. A little bit of their whip can now be used by stamina tunes and magicka tunes, because it scales off your highest resource rather than magicka. And a little better healing from your whip, maybe. From the Southernmoor Flamelash, and more resources back when you use your ult. And this passive is not exclusive to AoE abilities, but to flame and poison in general. And you lost the reduction cost of poison abilities, which really it's only going to affect a very small percent of DK builds. Nothing amazing for the rest of the classes. The Nightblade, they changed the Nightblade buff from crit damage to flat damage increase per stack of Grim Focus. So instead of 2% crit damage, it's 1% damage done. There you go. So that's what they did to help them deal with the crit damage change. Khajiit, I didn't see any changes to Khajiit yet, so Khajiit may fall out of favor. Fix an issue where some tooltips would display improper values when wearing combinations of perfected and non-perfected version of the set. Okay. Developer comment: as seen in recent updates, improving character hybridization has been a focus by the team in efforts to better bring to life the mantra of play the way you want. This is another large-scale effort done to help better utilize that statement. The item sets should empower you to get excited to build and experiment different things and fit into your character in a myriad of ways. We hope this better does that. Okay. Item sets that scale off weapon and spell damage, max mag and max stam can now again critically strike. So proc sets can now crit strike, making them 1,000 times more viable than they were, but probably not best in slot, but better, but a lot better. Item sets the scale can now critical strike. Item sets the scale in order of magnitude or based on additional modifiers such as Relican or Zon will not critically strike. There it is. Reli and Zon, no crit strike. So that's kind of just like potentially, I mean, that's more or less a nerf because everything else got buffed, right? It's a nerf to two of the best sets in the game. Many of these sets have received adjustments to their power as well. Below are the sets that can critically strike and have had the scaling values reduced by approximately 5% if another number is listed next to the set name. Okay. Yeah. All I need to do is unslot Backstabber for something else to get 117 in the group. Without AC Brittle on a Khajiit. Up to 125% cap. So like on a parse on the dummy, on my Necro, right? On my Necro, my Dark Elf Necro that's not spec'd into crit damage one bit would hit 133% crit damage. So the crit damage cap, you're gonna feel it. I think Khajiit falls from favor. Yeah, I think Khajiit falls from favor for min-maxers. Regardless of the class. So Reli is done. Maybe. We'll have to see, right? Reli is bust and slot. Did these changes make something else better than Reli? No. Does Necro have crit damage passives at all? No. Just crit chance and execute. Are you gonna look through the list of things that can crit now? This one here, arena weapons crafted. What's this? Frenzied momentum. Merciless charge. Wild impulse. Crafted. Ashen grip. Cold Arbor's favorite. Dragon's appetite. Eternal. Nocturnal's favorite. I mean, it's a lot of sets I've never used, never touched. Dungeon and arena. Aegis color. Now crits. Aegis Caller was always just a little bit too weak to be relevant. Maybe this changes that. Does that mean I should roll out of Khajiit? I'm just barely 160. Ugh. We'll see. We'll see. We've got to test it, man. The only way to know for sure is to test it. At a glance, it looks like the Khajiit passive is overkill. It doesn't mean Khajiit is going to be garbage. It just might parse 1 or 2% behind whatever the new best in slot is. It's not like your build just got broken in half. Like, you're fine, honestly. If you want to be a cat, you know? You RP your little heart out. Okay. Auroran's Thunder. This set now lasts for 5 seconds. Okay. Azure Blights, Kalurians, Cure, Draugr, Flame Blossom, Heidi's Ice. Pestilence. I mean, just a lot of sets here now can crit. Monster Masks. Chokethorn, Dami, Earthgore, Iceheart. Earthgore, what'd they change? This set now better follow standards for overtime effects and has a 2-second delay before starting to heal, up from 1. Why? This is like literally the whole point of this set is to save someone's ass if they're about to die. I guess they just don't want people to use it anymore. I see you're about to die. Don't worry. In 2 seconds, I'm going to do something about that. Yeah. Okay. It's a nerf. That's just a nerf to the set. It's a hard nerf to the set and everything that it stands for. If you're parsing 100k now and later you're parsing 95k, is there a really big difference unless you're talking about score pushing? It kind of depends. It kind of depends on how close you are to passing DPS checks in the game as a group. You know, 5k times 8 DPS. It adds up. 40,000 damage per second. Other than it still doesn't crit. Yeah. Yeah. Diablo 2. I'll play a little bit of Diablo 2. Not because I don't like these patch notes, though. This is fine. All this is fine. I don't see anything that's ruining the game. Just to be clear, there's nothing here that seems really bad. I'm really excited for the changes to DK. I'm curious about the changes to gear and how that's going to work and what impact it's going to have on metas and the gear that we're wearing. I'm sad to see I don't see anything that really helps stamina out at a glance here. You know, I think they're still relegated to the role that they have as kind of, you know, the downtrodden. But we'll see. Spoilers. Briar, Deadland, Defiler, Mantinker. Okay. BBB Source, Affliction, Almalexia. Okay. Although maybe not, though. I mean, if you don't need... I don't know. I don't know. Trials, Destructive Mage, Poisonous Serpent, Roar of Alkosh, Twilight Remedy. Deadly Strike was nerfed again. They're not going to be happy until every class is wearing the exact same set as every other class, are they? That's what it is. Anytime a class has a best in slot set for them, they're just like, no, you need to take that off and you need to wear what everybody else is wearing. And you're going to do it with a smile on your face. They hate class identity when it comes to gear. Item sets that deal bursts of damage in 4 seconds or less. Now have 1 second window after procking that prevent. Okay, so the proc cooldown. Affliction, developer comments. In our efforts to help reduce the viability of stacking multiple proc sets at once and triggering them at high moments of bursts, we've adopted a new standard for sets that like ingrained counterplay. Okay, so there's a cooldown on proccing damage sets. This will be... This seems like... I mean, 4 second cooldown. 1,001, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if that's going to be enough. Or I wonder how that's going to feel, you know? For massive, like, damage procs. Yeah. No. Ability altering weapons, chaotic whirlwind. Rework this set's special activate. Now grant status of chaotic whirlwind 5 seconds after casting whirlwind in combat. Elemental succession. Oh, mechanical acuity. This item now grants a stack of mechanical acuity for 4 seconds. Whenever you deal non-critical damage, granting you 20% critical chance per stack, up to once every half second. After this effect ends or reaches 5 stacks, it cannot occur again 25 seconds. And 25-second downtime. So is it looking like Mother Star was dead or no? Seems like no. Acuity is 100% destroyed. Ma is best in slot again for Sorg with this. He thinks so. Wow. I hope not. I hope not, dude. Man, I hope not. They just, you know what they would do? You know what they should do is make Ma like a little mini lizard. If they just made him 1/10 the size, right? Would be fine, you know, like a little, make it a salamander or something low profile, you know, so it's breathing fire at the tank's feet instead of the tank's face, you know, anything. You think Killed is still usable? Medusa might be dead, so you think stacking minor force might be over? You'll still stack crit chance, but maybe not minor force. It'll be interesting, man. It'll be really interesting. If we're allowed to put a build together without minor force. Like in all my time in ESO, I've never been allowed to do it. I've not been allowed to put a build together without minor force. It's not been an option. It'd be kind of cool if this changed that, man. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Monster Arenas. Okay, elemental succession. This set now grants its bonuses randomly per element when you deal any source of flame, frost, or shock damage, rather than firing each bonus independently per element. This change was done to ensure its power is not outright better than the flat bonus versions of these sets, such as Silks of the Sun, as well as to significantly reduce the amount of logic check being done per second on the back end. No. No chair. Oh my god, you guys remind me of like have you ever seen the old recordings of like a Michael Jackson concert, right? And Michael Jackson comes onto the stage and then all the women are like, oh, and then like pass out from happiness and like falling over. This is what I feel like every time I get up and you guys see the chair, you're just like, you're the women passing out at the Michael Jackson concert. Yeah, it's yeah, there it is. It's exactly how I feel. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Okay. MJ. Yeah, MJ. Now, updated the monster sets. Damahas. This set now fires both its flame and physical damage rings at the same time at half the original damage and grants weapon and spell damage while standing inside. These changes were done since it's now much more common to have the same amount of weapon and spell damage, and before it defaulted to picking the flame version of these stats were the same. Okay. PvP source Dark Convergent reduced the set's damage by 59%, but increased the scaling per target up to 50%, up from 10%. Reduced the damage radius down to 10 from 12. The set now pulls once after its delay rather than twice. Who was saying they didn't touch Dark Convergence? You couldn't have been more wrong. Sounds like. The pull now pulls all nearby targets rather than 6 per pull, so that it remains effective against large groups. 59% is such a weird percentage, dude. It's, yeah, they're such nerds. You can tell, like, the people that are doing this, they're such nerds, right? They're such nerds. Like a normal human being would be like, oh, this skill does 6,000 damage, but they're like, no, it does 5,996. And you're like, why? Why not the extra 4? Why? I mean, why, you monster? Like, now I have to like, why, you know, like, what, who's that 4 damage gonna hurt, right? They, you know, but to them, you know, there's an equation behind it that matters. So let's see. Deadly Strike. This set is currently seeing a lot of success in its original target area of killing large groups of players who don't respect the area of effect. However, it's doing its job a little too well and being run in situations of low target counts, which has led to situations where the set feels too good at a general purpose rather than something more niche like Vicious Death. We're reining in the damage a bit so that it's less effective against small player counts. Yeah. Okay. So basically, Zoss is continuing to want to Zerg bust, right? They really want to Zerg bust. Zergs are really hard on the servers, and they don't want them to exist more often than they have to. 32,333, repeating, of course. Yes. Deadly Strikes reduce the set's damage bonus over time to 15, down from 18. Man, this set has just been whittled away. Yeah, I think they're really trying to wean people off of it, because it went from 20 to 18, now to 15. I think they're done with the set. I don't know why, though. What did they give Templars? What juicy set did they give Templars that would be exciting to use instead? I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, like, it would make sense if they're like, oh, Templars, we added a cool set just for you guys. You know, try this out. And then, you know, you could be excited about switching over to something else more interesting. Yeah, they give nothing? Yeah. I don't know. Morag Tong fixed an issue where the set did not proc off of some attacks, such as Acid Spray. It wasn't, Morag Tong wasn't affecting Acid Spray? It's like the best thing that you would think to pair with it. Wrath of the Imperium. This set now grants 129 weapon and spell damage. For its 2 piece and 325 was. I'm just thinking of all the Morag Tong Acid Spray builds I've seen in the past that were doing nothing. So funny. You know, unbeknownst to the people building, oh. In your opinion, most fun healer that is not meta for PvE and PvP. So, in my opinion, of the bad healers, which one is the most fun? The bad healers would be what? The Dragonknight, the Nightblade, and the Sorc. I guess the Sorc, because it's the least not meta. You know, like, the Sorc is a great healer, but it's also the 4th best, right? I mean, if you were gonna say, you know, the top 3 are the Templar, the Warden, and the Necro, then Sorc is your first off meta. So I would say it's the most fun of the off meta because it's gonna be probably the most effective in the current climate. Sorc is actually a good healer. Yeah, exactly. It's a good healer. That's why I said Sorc would be the most fun. It's the least off meta of the off meta. Is Mag Sorc even still good for PvP? Dude, Mag Sorc is amazing right now. They're hitting massive numbers. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No healers are the best healers? People don't run it because they get the buffs elsewhere? Yeah. I had to break, so not up to meta. Ah, okay. Yeah. Wrath of the Imperium. Okay. Trial. Chaotic Whirlwind. Updated the audio. What the heck is Chaotic Whirlwind? What is that? Anybody know? Mantle of Sororia. This set now only procs off of light and heavy attacks rather than any source of single target direct damage. Today I learned that Mantle of Sororia didn't only proc off of light attacks and heavy attacks before. As Asylum, you think? Ah. Okay. All right. Fix an issue where facial hair adornments would be improperly removed when entering a crafting station. All right. General, you will now utilize joining encounter in progress to travel to a dungeon boss when it's engaged by the group. This will eventually roll out to all existing dungeons. But below is a list of dungeons that currently have this functionality added. Hey, that's pretty cool. They're even adding it to the dungeons. Wow. Dungeon, Script of Hearts 2, Melzeluth. Fulminating Void no longer affects player pets. No idea what that is. Nice. Love the Necro and Res ulti? Ah. Trials. Sanctum Ophidia. Reduce the damage and radius of the poison blast ability, which is triggered when your character dies, while affected by spreading poison. Hey, Dash. How's it going, guys? So we can run Sanctum Ophidia again. Hey, Crunchy. Duck Faith. Okay. Crunchy. Duck Faith. You can't mind it. It's a crag trial. Why are you so afraid of this place? Butter up Thur? Oh, I'll put some butter on Thur here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're going on vacation? My God. Yeah. How's it going, Dash? How was the stream today? What did you guys do? And Thur and that beautiful accent of his. Oh my God, maybe can get that speedrun without having to worry about glitchy poison deaths. Exactly. I can finally go get that achievement. Yes. General, help files related to events. Okay. Jester's events. So to summarize, here's my thoughts, guys. My concerns, Mag and Stam are going to be wearing basically the same thing now. We're just going to find the best sets for both, and everybody's just going to, it's going to be kumbaya. We're all going to wear the same stuff. Build diversity is going to suffer, right? That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, that doesn't happen because of armor passives. We'll see. And we see some, I think we are definitely going to see a shift in the way builds are put together because of this. It's going to definitely have an impact on the metas, more so it feels like than any recent past patch has had a shift in the metas. At least at first glance, that's what it feels like. Did they bring Proc sets up there for PvE? Yeah, they said they're gonna crit now, and procs, a lot of proc sets can crit, and if they can crit, they probably reduce their damage by about 5% to make up for the fact that now they're gonna be critting, which is weird because I don't understand why you would lower the damage of a set nobody was using in PvE anyway. I mean, well, I guess power creep. The Nightblade, Magblade is still powerful. DK looks like it's going to be less unwanted. It's going to have less sustained struggles. It's going to have a little more damage. Will it be enough to push it into the meta as more than a, oh, we need someone to bring the Zens? We'll see. We'll find out. You know, we'll find out.